Good morning, campers. We have a new moon today. We have a Chinese New Year, Year of a Snake. So we're going to be asking those days, what is it that we need to shed? So let's go for it. I want to check your emotion, this collective, so you can tie into to this message. But what I was sensing from the beginning, this is going to be an alignment reading. They're showing me 999, 99. So either which we're just closing a cycle, maybe that has a meaning for some of you. 99, 999, 9 to the 9th, September. But I'm seeing like the same person, right? It's like two parts of you going in a different direction and like pulling a rope, right? So a part of you wants to go into the aligned, good self-reflection kind of direction, and the other one still has the anxiety, still wants to run away, still wants to avoid certain things. But this collective, you definitely want to put more dedicated effort into your life. This is this collective when you had that moment in your life of flip a switch. You know how I always say that first part of our life, it's a physical karma. So we work a little bit on autopilot, right? We follow patterns, subconscious pattern, behavioral patterns. We don't understand why certain things are happening. We don't really dwell on certain things and on who we are and why we are like that, right? And there's always that moment, that window of opportunity when we can awake. For some of us, it's going to be deep spiritual awakening. For others, it's just going to be that moment that you're going to start having a little bit of reflection and doing a little bit of self work. For some, you're going to miss the window and you're going to never get there, right? It's life. So let's see where's the emotion for this collected with this dedicated effort. We're going to do your emotion, what's going on, and then we're going to do shadows. What is it that you need to shed? We're going to do guidance. Let's see. What? So we have sweetness. I'm sensing for this collective, we have nice energy, right? We have sweetness, we have abundance, and we have success. I'm sensing for this collective that you are starting to see, I'm hearing the sweetness of life. So you would have had that moment in your recent cycles that you realize maybe in the past you were quite of a bitter person without you knowing, that you would always look at the dark side of things, that you would always think that life is just, difficult, that life is just a cross that we have to bear. And now it's like you're starting to see more sweetness. I think life is showing we have love. To be honest, as I open the channel, I wasn't sensing any person attached to you, but we'll tap into that. Maybe that's something that is new for this collective, but I feel it's like it's more you. You're choosing love, you're choosing sweetness, you're choosing to think and act from a place of love instead of from a place of fear. One more. With this abundance and this success, I feel like life is showing you, and we have mystery. So life is still a mystery. Your nature is still a mystery to you. Certain patterns are still a mystery. Certain concepts of life, I'm hearing, are still a mystery. But it's like you know how I always say that when we act on our highest excitement, to the best of our ability, with no expectation of an outcome, when we turn everything inwards, when we start to do the internal work, focus on us, how we can do better, why I am the way I am, right? Work, just do the work, how we always call it, right? When we start to do that, Source wants to show us that this is the way, and they always grant us gifts in the physical world. Be it that everything that you were struggling with suddenly starts going smooth, or you get a new job, or you get a bonus at your job, or certain issues. Then they're showing me apartments. So maybe you were looking for a new apartment, and in a very serendipitous way, you found a place to live, and you were worried that you wouldn't. And I'm seeing also so it's like they're showing you that life will go better if you focus on you, because it is a projection, right? Whether we know it or not. And they were showing me in this deck, the conversation card. So maybe you recently had a lot of long awaited conversations. I feel for this collective, this is sort of like this friends and family kind of situation when you truly walk to certain certain things, certain trauma, certain, let's see what's going on. Let's tap in so you can truly tie to this message, and then we're going to dive deeper into your shadows. Whoop. Divine Feminine. Divine Feminine, that's a bizarre energy as an opening. I want to do your first whole row because that's not what I was sensing for this collective. Let's see. I feel this is more energy, like what you carry within. We have broken. Let's do 3 more. We have disagreements. We have beginnings. That's what I was sensing, that it's like you have the sense of a bit of a new, okay, so we have broken and disagreements. Hold on. We have new beginnings, and we have habits. With this new beginning, they are showing me that there's something that you're releasing, that's something that you're wanting to change in your life, in your habits, in your behavioral patterns, in a way you would see life and you would perceive life. So there's something you do need to shed, right, for the next cycles of your life. And we're going to tap into this energy in a moment. But with this Divine Feminine, I'm actually just sensing feminine energy, feminine wound, mother wound. Maybe that is a detail for this collective, that without you, maybe you recently realize what that actually means, what is behind those words when we say that someone has a mother wound. Maybe you've realized that you never had that healthy, proper feminine energy around you from childhood, that energy that is supposed to give you stillness, emotional stability, caring, love, warmth, that safe place to be. This is what feminine energy is, whether for our partners, romantical partners, in a relationship, or for our children, whatever that is. A feminine energy, whoever embodies that feminine energy, right? It's not 100% gender specific, but I always say for 90% it will be. When it's in its healthy, healed state, it should embody just that. Be that safe place, that warm place when you can put your head on and really release your emotions. So maybe you're realizing you've never had that, and that's actually a consequence of why you are and why you are the way you are and who you are. Maybe you've always had disagreements, and I was seeing conversations. So they were trying to show me that you're changing your patterns. So maybe you would always fight with your mother or a feminine figure in your life as you were growing up, and now you're starting to release that emotion. Let's do another row. Divine Feminine and worthy. So energy that made you feel unworthy. This is it. True feminine energy should always embody unconditional love. As a mother, as a partner, we should embody unconditional love. So it's the person that was supposed to always make you feel loved, seen, worthy, and it was the opposite. So maybe you've realized recently that all your points of low self-esteem, all your patterns of escapism, I'm hearing, and avoidance come from the fact that you were made to believe that you're not worthy of good things in life. And it's also coming to my mind, that sometimes when we say, oh, that mother figure, right, did not provide to you in your childhood that love, that warmth, that unconditional love, that unconditional understanding, and compassion, right? And taught you how to deal with emotion and made you feel unworthy, right? So our brain automatically goes to a person that is low vibrational, to a person that is a little bit and not a good person, right? But it's not necessarily that. And I always say this, in order to give something to someone, we have to embody it. So people think things like respect, care, love are natural, but they're not. They're not the basic human, as in this flesh and body, right? And when we talk about our ego and just the physicality of human being, those are not natural responses. It's something that we have to be taught. It's something that we have to be made remembered, because it resides in our spirit, right? Not in our ego body. So if someone doesn't have that, if someone doesn't understand the concept of self-worth, of unconditional love, they're not going to be capable of giving that to you. So maybe not necessarily, that's why maybe you struggle to realize that, because maybe not necessarily your mother was a person that strikes as a bad person and a loving person. Maybe she was trying hard all her life to give you that, but she was incapable of doing that. And through her automated patterns and subconscious behavioral patterns, she made you feel unworthy. There's a reason in the beginning of that reading we went through physical karma, spiritual karma, right? And that moment when the flip switches, and I mentioned to you, it doesn't switch for all of us. For all of us, universe, source, the higher plan, our higher self, will create that window of opportunity in our life to flip that switch. But not everyone will manage to do that. Maybe she did it. Broken. Let's see. Foundation confirmation, because this is my card of childhood wounds, whether that's a mother wound or that's a father wound. There was a lack in foundation. And this collective, you would be realizing this right now, that's the reason. What? Sorry. That's the reason you are broken. That's the reason there are things within you that are not working properly, because you were not taught those things. And for this collective, it would start with a mother wound, with a lack of that foundation. Disagreements. I wish you understood overwhelmed. I wish you understood how I feel. I think you never felt seen, and you never felt understood, right? But you took it for, it is what it is. This is life, right? You didn't think in the past, this collective, that it's created for a reason, that it's a journey of life, that we as souls choose our family. And for most part, I always say this, that family are karmics, because there are our greatest, toughest lessons. And yes, sometimes in our family, when you look at your entire family, like your siblings, your cousins, your uncles, your aunts, and whatever that is, we do have soulmates as well, right? To help us get through that. But when it comes to that immediate family, right? Mother, father, siblings, for most part, when you look at that family, like 80% of that family is going to be karmic connections. It's going to be soul contracts that you have to complete, because family is what shapes us, right? What shapes that physical part of our karma, what programs the ego body, so you can go through those lessons. So maybe that's something, there's a reason I'm mentioning this, maybe that's something you're realizing recently, but I feel that you are a little bit overwhelmed right now by the situation. It's like that's why you're on the fence. Remember, that's what I was saying. It's like you're pulling in and out. It's like you want to make a more conscious effort. You want to go deeper. You want to do that shadow work, but at times it overwhelms you and you're like, but they immediately showing me, give yourself time. It's hard. And I always talk about this, the journey of healing, the journey of reprogramming your mind, the journey of awakening. Yes, in 1% of cases. I say this because I hear this a lot around the internet. There are people who are truly enlightened. They're old souls, and for them the switch flips and it's like boom, like the light is here and it's not going to go away. But for most of us, it is a journey. And the reason for that is that we want it to be a journey. As a soul, we want to go through that all that, whether you know it or not, when we're back there, we're stardust, right? We go back to source. We are the universe. So what you perceive in this life as the good and the bad, the struggles, the challenges, the lessons, the pains, we actually want it, because up there, how ridiculous it may sound to you, it's so different that any kind of physical emotion and sensation is good for us. It's entertaining. But you are at times overwhelmed, so just give yourself time. It is a journey, and there's a reason for that to be journey. We have inseparable. I feel it's more the energy because it's on top of those beginnings. So maybe you want new beginnings. Maybe you want to process certain things in your life, but you're thinking, can I really be truly separated from those things? Can I truly have that new beginning? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And I always say this to people, we have unappreciated. So that will be a big thing for this collective. And that's on top of habits. And look how we have black and white, shadows and light. It's just a habit. It's just a pattern. It's just a program. You can release it. And I say this all the time in all my readings, right? Whether your judgment is still clouded through the veil of those woundings, right? But I talk about this all the time, whether that's in love reading, alignment reading, that people say, oh, it's impossible, like, to completely release the childhood wounds, to be in a moment when you love someone but with no fear, or when you completely connect but not attached. It's impossible. It is possible, and for most of us, it's gonna take time, and we have to accept that it's gonna be a journey, and that it's gonna take time, and that it's okay. But the first step of this journey is switching your mindset that it is possible. If you truly don't believe that you cannot have a relationship without attachment, you're not gonna have it. If you truly don't believe that you cannot have a relationship without fear of losing someone, you're not going to have it. If you truly don't think that you can shed and release that mother wound or father wound or childhood trauma, you're not going to do that. If you truly don't believe that you can have pure and conditional love from your romantical partner, that's going to be that's not going to be in any way toxic attachment, lies and deceptions and so on and so forth, you're not going to have it. The first thing is always to believe that. And from believing that, you start to embody this energy. You embody this energy, because I always say this, law of attraction. You attract now what you want, not fake it until you make it. That's rubbish. That's rubbish advice. You attract what you embody. You want to attract love? Embody love. You want to attract healed people? You want to attract unconditional love? Be that. Give that. And we start from giving that to ourselves. All right. If that resonated, let's maybe go through your shadows. Hold on. Let me organize myself here. All right. What shadows does this collective need to work on? What is it that we need to shed? Eight of Coins. I don't know why I looked at it and I couldn't read it. Maybe it's a bizarre feeling. Maybe that's something that happened to you. Maybe that's a detail for some of you. Like you were about to do something that usually is automatic and you're like, why am I looking at those letters and I cannot read this? This is dedication to the craft. Detailed, sticking to it, self-employed, achievement, work, mastery, committed. I think this is more about that element of time that we've mentioned, remember? So we said, in order to look at things in a different way, it takes time. It takes time to reprogram your mind. And I always say this, when we go through a journey of, again, whether that's awakening or healing or self-reflection, we want to change our mindset. We want to heal, because that's what healing truly is, changing our mindset, stopping to look from a place of ego and starting to look at things from a place of heart. That journey is a little bit like a computer reboot, right? But what you have to realize that our brain and our mind is a supercomputer. It's not just a simple phone, it's not just a simple laptop. It takes time. Imagine a supercomputer being reset and rebooted. It's gonna take time. And we start from going to zero, right? From going to that moment when we realize, I know nothing. I understood nothing. Blank. Now I'm going to start questioning everything, right? And from the moment I start questioning everything, I'm going to go back to my center. I'm going to go back to my soul. I'm going to go back to my heart space, and I'm going to start building the concepts of life from not what I was taught from my family, from my childhood, from the society, from the environment, because that's full of wounding traumas and a veil of their own issues. I have to have that blank card to start to build those concepts from a place of my soul and my intuition. And that takes time. It takes dedication. So give yourself time. Be patient with yourself. I know it happens to all of us that in the beginning of this journey, it's like we know now you realize, and I always use this analogy as well. We have the tower at the bottom of the deck of the basement, right? You've been living in a dark basement. You've been living in a basement full of crap, full of dust, full of all kinds of nonsense, but you were living in a darkness, and someone turns on the light and you realize all that mess, and you're like, damn, I have to clean this up. And now, because you realize, you want to do it quickly because you really don't want to continue to live in all that shit. But you cannot do this quickly. You have to work strategically. You have to work in layers. That's why we say healing happens in layers. There are certain things inside of us so deeply that our subconscious mind will not grant us access if we don't go through the top layers, because we're not ready for this. We wouldn't be able to go through this. We wouldn't understand that. We have to build strength. We have to build. It's like with everything, you start practicing from smaller things, from easier things, right? And then you gradually build your way towards it. We have Page of Cups, manipulative obsession, inner child wounds, creative block, whether you know it or not. And I always say this is why those are patterns. This is why we call them patterns, because they're subconscious. We don't know the way we act until we understand those patterns, right? So it's like you're now in that mindset of trying to understand and trying to connect the dots, and sometimes it is very complicated. Human nature, right? The nature and the psychology and the operating program. Maybe you're a tech person. Maybe you're like work with computers and stuff like that. That's why I'm using all those analogies. But it's a complicated machine, right? And sometimes we don't really realize how those dots connect. How something that my mom would tell me in childhood has so much influence on the 30 or 40 years old me in that space. But it does. So you have to really learn how that machine operates in order to understand that. And I'm looking at this, it says on this card, broken dreams. So I think that this collective, you didn't realize that. Remember we said in the beginning that in the past you were quite bitter and you were quite Eight of Wands. You wanted too fast. Slow down. You wanted too fast. You that you were a little bit maybe bitter, a little bit life is a struggle. There's no joy in life. There's no sweetness in life. And now you're realizing that you were just programmed to think like that. And I always say this again, life is neutral, because this is a journey of life. Are we able to look at life and in everything that happens as a positive thing, silver lining, right? Positive outcome. Because This is how we program our mind. This is how we reprogram it through healing. Whatever happens, even if it seems like a tower, even if it seems like a challenge, I take it as positive. It's here for me to learn something. It's here for me to be better. It's here for me to shed another layer. But if you're programmed from childhood to look at everything as a negative thing, that's how you're going to be approaching things. We have 2 cards. We have 9 of Wands. This is the 9, and this is the energy that I was sensing. Remember, I said to you, I'm seeing 9 nines. It's like closing a cycle. It's like less effort. There is something that they want you to see before you go deeper, right? That layer that you truly need to shed. And we have King of Cups. They want you to balance your emotions, right? To look, and there's a reason it says heart-centered. There's a reason I was talking about looking at things from a place of heart from the very beginning of this reading, because this is what you need to do. You're still, because you were raised by a wounded masculine energy, you are imbalanced, and that wounded masculine energy created wounding in your wounded feminine energy created wounding in your feminine energy, because we embody both, right? Every person has a masculine and feminine, and when they truly balance, this is only the moment when we can rise into our healthy divine masculine or drop into our healthy divine feminine. So it's like there's lack of that balance within you. You would associate, I think this collective, you would, because the feminine that you knew from childhood was wounded, you would associate feminine energy. Confirmation, it's not from my coughing, I was feeling it from within. You would associate feminine energy from weakness, with weakness, with incapability to deal with life, which is not the case. Feminine energy is wild. Feminine energy is chaos. Feminine energy does and is whatever it wants to do and be. But this is your first row of your shadow. So you're stuck on the layer of childhood wounds. And this is why, in therapy, whether you go to an actual therapy or a spiritual therapist, like a shadow worker like myself, or whatever it is, whatever journey you choose, we always start from childhood, because this is where it all starts. And that's why it's a long journey. That's why it's a long journey. That's why it has to take time. You want it too fast. You want to figure yourself out too fast, because now you know you can be okay and you can be better. So you want that. But you have to persist. You have to push more. You're at the beginning of your journey if you truly want to. And again, a lot of people, and then there are enlightened people online who say that it doesn't have to be a journey, it can happen like that, and yes, I believe that's true. But for most of us, this is why we say it, it's a journey, but for most of us, it's going to be a journey. It's going to take time. And if you truly want to, even if you're freaking enlightened, and I don't care what anyone says, there's always something you still can learn, because your human brain is a limitation, right? You're not directly connected to source. I don't care how enlightened you are. There's always a new perspective that you can gain, because if it wasn't the case, source would not create the illusion of separation, right? And down to the individual human beings, because in the end, we're all one, we're all source, but that separation that is an illusion is created for us to constantly gain different perspective, new learnings, and bring it back to source, right? We have Page of Coins. That's another page in your spread. I think you just... it just came to my mind, small steps, big accomplishments. You're trying to approach things from I'm deviating a lot. I was meant to say I'm deviating a lot about, some concepts of spirituality and healing and so on and so forth. So maybe you would be doing your research. Maybe you're due diligence, I just heard. Maybe you're someone that you have that perfectionist within you. When you really do something, you dedicate yourself to that journey, right? So it's like maybe you have a very logical mind, right? So at one point, watch the whole part. You started realizing certain things. You walk from your physical karma, now you're moving to your spiritual karma, and it's like you want to get it right. So maybe you're doing your research, you're reading a lot, and you're trying to figure this out. But I always say this: if you're truly guided to do a research about certain things, to find out more about certain concept, it's amazing to get books and to ask your mentors. But truly, that's why I always say that what I do with people I work with, I try to guide you back towards your inner guru, because everything you know, it's within you, it's inside of you, it's inside of that intuition, because you are the universe, you are a source, right? That physical body, it creates just that illusion of separation. But everything you need to know, you know, in your intuition. So, but it's only normal that in the first stages of that spirituality and that awakening, we crave for that knowledge, right? But just calm down, take it easy, small steps, big accomplishments, focus on everything that you know you need to reprogram, but one by one, step by step, and try to do it from a place of this just naturally, what is it that I feel is right for me? Does it make sense? And even when you go, because internet, the world, even like amongst books, it's full of rubbish, right? That's why you have to learn. That's why all of us, we always have to learn to listen to our intuition, because our intuition knows and remembers also what's relevant for us and what's good for us, right? So as you start exploring those spiritual concepts, make sure that you always go back to your intuition. Is this relevant for me? Does this information feels right for me? Is it, because there's going to be things that are going to resonate with some and not with other, and for a good reason, right? Eight of Swords in reverse. That's good. Take back your power. Set free. You're setting yourself free, right? You know that this collective, you would know that you've been living in in a mental prison that you yourself created for yourself through childhood wounds, through mother wound, through how you were raised. And you want to set yourself free. You know the key to the biggest, thickest layer is in your childhood. We're going to tap into I'm guided to tap into the energy. So maybe the final spread, the guidance, will do winter solstice. Find the light within. That's beautiful. A year or more, tie up loose ends, validate feeling, hibernate winter. So maybe your journey started a year ago. Maybe if you go back to a year ago, you would realize that this is when something happened. This is when that window of opportunity that I spoke about opened. But I'm also I'm focused also on this winter and hibernation. I always say this: the biggest unconditional love that we can get, right, on this earth, in this physical world, is from Mama Gaia, is from Mother Earth. This is where the knowledge resides. That's why I said to you, you have to connect to your intuition, and the knowledge is there. It's out there, right? You don't have to look for books. And yes, it's good to have, like mentors and people who guide us, people who inspire us. It's only natural and it's beautiful. This is how we grow from each other. But we can draw that knowledge from Mother Earth as well. And how we do that is we truly ground and we connect to Mama Gaia. And how we do that, we live with seasons of Mother Earth. We respect those seasons, right? So we're now in the northern hemisphere, we're now in the winter time, so respect that. Maybe you're being guided to rest, maybe you're being guided to hibernate, maybe you're pushing yourself a little bit too much, right? Because you have that hyperachiever in your mind and that due diligence, right? You want to show dedication to truly go through this, but sometimes, again, it is your mind who tells you how you're supposed to show dedication. Maybe it's not true. What did I say? Question everything. Maybe this is not how you show dedication, right? You want to awaken, you want to heal, you want to do the work, so you want to show dedication, and you're trying to figure all those concepts out. And in reality, maybe what you're now being guided to do is to show dedication through showing dedication to Mother Earth and your body, which means resting, which means hibernating. Taking it slow down. This is on top of that, the 8 of Wands in reverse. Slow down. 9 of Coins, and this is the 9-9. This is the 99 that I was saying from the beginning. 9-9. They want you to close the cycle. But again, I'm sensing it's going to be significant. It's going to the right collective at 9-9. Well, maybe you're seeing a lot of 9-9s. You truly have to believe. Remember what we said. If you don't believe it's possible, right? You're not going to achieve that. So this collective, you're like on the verge of switching that mindset. It's like you knew now why certain things, why you are the way you are, why you were having certain patterns and behavioral patterns. You now understand, you've connected the dots, you understand where it's coming from. But it's like you're still sitting in this energy. Well, if it originated with the wounded feminine energy of my mother and the mother wound, well, that's something I'm never going to be able to eliminate because this is my mother, but it's not true. You can cleanse that energy. It's karma. It's your karma. Your mother is your karmic lesson. Right? So you just need to learn that lesson. Poof. And then it disappears. Then you let it go. You accept it for learning that it is. You accepted that you've chose this as a soul. You chose this for a reason. You accept that she was doing the best she could. The unconditional love and compassion that you never got from her, you give to her. That's how you release karma. I always say this. I don't care what anyone says. To release karma with someone, you fully have to sit in the energy of unconditional love, compassion, and understanding towards this person. If you truly don't embody it from the very core of your heart, well, you're going to have to repeat the cycle in the next lifetime with this person. Right? Because they will want to, their soul, as we return home, they will want to make this up to you. So if you don't want to do this, if you don't want to repeat that, you have to embody that energy. It doesn't matter what she did not give to you. She gave you all she was capable of. Now you have to release that, and it is possible. There's a reason I'm doing. You have to truly, this collective, this is that layer you're stuck on. You truly have to. Why is this? It's like the deck is closed on both ends. Page of Wands. A lot of pages. You are in the beginning of your journey. You truly have to believe you're worthy. And it is possible. It is possible one day to sit in the energy of 100%. I am seen. I am worthy. Because your true mama is Mama Gaia. And she sees you. And she knows you're worthy. However you are, whatever you do. Let's close the spread. Oh, too many swords. Too many. They wanting, see? Too many. They wanting to give me a lot. It's like you want a lot in a one shot, in a one spread. You want a lot. No. One by one. We can insist. We want one. No more. One by one. Step by step. Small steps, big accomplishments. One more to close this spread, and we're going to do this mother wound. 9 of Cups. Another 9. 9 is important for this collective. Self-indulgent, materialist, selfish, imbalanced. 9 of Cups. It's like you don't believe. 5 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Because the last one was the King of Cups. Remember what we said? You truly have to sit in your heart space. You truly have to release the blockages of your mind. Self-limiting beliefs. Yes, you were programmed by the events of your childhood and that mother wound to think like that. But now you're an adult human being. You choose to continue to think like that. And I know it's not as easy as it sounds. But it is. You choose to continue to think like that. And I always say this. A pattern is a pattern. until the moment we realize it's a pattern, right? Then it's a choice. And I say this a lot in my collectives when I do love readings, and there are people who, especially wounded masculine energy, who's sitting in their avoidance, right? So you can say that you have an avoidant attachment style. It is a pattern, right? So we can say that it's a pattern, and then you realize, because in reality, it's an autopilot from childhood, right? I myself had anxious attachment style that was created through childhood trauma and childhood wounding and a father wound, right? So that first part of my life, that physical karma, I didn't realize that. I was operating on an autopilot, how I was entering and presenting in relationships through that anxiety. I thought this is something you do. I thought you prove to the other person that you're worthy of love. I thought you had to text someone multiple times and to chase that person to make them realize that you're worthy of love. It wasn't a choice. But the moment you realize, the moment that flip switches, the moment that light turns on in that basement and you realize, damn, it's like the first time you read about this, right? And it's been shown to you by source. Those are attachment styles. This is anxious attachment style. This is where it comes from. And it's like this moment of like, damn, this is me. This is the story of my life. From that moment, if you continue to do that, it's a choice. It's not a pattern. And yes, like I said, it's a journey, right? And you have to realize it's, for you now, it's a journey of a page, step by step, day by day. Don't think how long it's going to take. Don't look at this whole staircase, right? Next step, bit by bit. I'm hearing this Whitney Houston song. Maybe that resonates with some of you, step by step, bit by bit, right? But from the moment you realize it's a choice, so you now know that you were made to sit in worthiness, that you were taught to believe that you were not worthy. And now, yes, it's going to be a journey until the moment you realize you truly are worthy, but you have to realize it's possible first. You have to be kind to yourself and say, it's going to be a journey until I actually feel it and embody it. But first step is to believe it's going to happen. All right, let's do guidance. We're going to do a few of these because we are sitting in a new moon energy. There's something that they want you to shed. I'm sensing it's going to be again about, yes, we have that mother wound. It's going to take you some time and some cycles to heal that properly. But what you need to shed is that lack of belief, right? So let's step into that wound. Let's do a few of these. Emotions are running high. We did sense you were overwhelmed with this collective, right? So just take it easy, hibernate, use this winter energy to rest. It's okay. You don't have to do it now. You don't have to pressure is horrible on this journey, right? Whatever it's, you have to realize that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And it's a cliche we always talk about, but that's how Dharma works. There is no there, right? We keep thinking that it's time for healing. It's time for healing. We keep thinking that we want to get there, right? There when there's no mother wound, there when we are reunited with our soulmate, but there is no there. The journey will continue. It's just one of few milestones. From there, you're gonna set a new journey. What is it that they say? The top of a mountain is the bottom of the next mountain. There's no there except that. And your romantic cycle begins. I think for this collective, it's more like a new cycle. A new cycle when you romance yourself. A new cycle when you love yourself. Of self-love. One more. New moon in Libra. Definitely a balance is needed in this collective. You're like in and out. Back and forth. Just rest. If you don't know what direction to go, if you don't know what to do, don't do anything. Best advice. We have 2. Your dreams need a practical plan, right? So you want to get there. Wherever there is for you, you need a practical plan to get there. Be bold and make the first move. Believe in the impossible. At the bottom of the deck, believe in the impossible. Take it easy, take it slow. You're starting a new cycle, but there's still something you need to shed. Yes, you have to take action on that, but try to release that. 4 of Swords, rest. 8 of Cups, rest. How more clearer we can show this to you, but 4 of Cups and Ace of Cups and 4 of Swords. 707. There's a time for learning. You want to learn, you want to grow, but you're lacking still. You're doing this through program without you knowing. It's like you set your mindset on what it actually means to learn, to progress, and to grow. And sometimes it's sitting in stillness. It's being kind to yourself. It's really time to pour a lot into your self-love, into that love that you were not given. However you would imagine, right? That female energy, remember what I said? That you have that mother wound, right? So that feminine energy was non-existent in your childhood, in a healed energy and in a healed vibration, right? So you were lacking this nurture, this unconditional love, compassion. It's okay, take it easy, rest in my arms. I'm here for you. I'm here to give you warmth, to give you comfort. Give it to yourself. Activate that feminine within, nurture her, and allow her to be that for you that you did not have. Do that for your inner child. Do that for yourself. It's now High Priestess, the ultimate mother, your intuition. You need to connect to that intuition. You're still sitting, it's like you want to heal a mother wound, but you're sitting in your masculine. You have to connect to that feminine within. You have to activate that feminine within. Hold on. Let's do 2 more and we'll wrap this up. Whoa, thank you. We have King of Swords and Waning Moon. Gaining wisdom, 3 to 4 weeks, reevaluate your plan, new perspective, have patience. Yes, so next 4 weeks are important. Allow yourself to rest. It's like you think you have to take action. You think you have to take that dedicated action to be more assertive, to be more dedicated to your journey. What they're really asking you to do is to rest, to give yourself time, to have patience with yourself. Give yourself all of the goodness of the feminine energy that you never had. Comfort food, compassion, unconditional love, patience, warmth, nurturing. Give that to yourself. Next 4 weeks, I don't want to see you doing anything else but that.